Okay, welcome everybody to the second round of the Campionato Giovanile di Debate. My name is Giulia Bertagnolio. I would like to welcome you all here. I would first invite Team Pro to introduce themselves and also tell us, the judges, what roles they are going to cover, please.
Good evening, I am Martina Tamma and I'm going to be the first speaker of the proposition team, and I'm going to do the conclusion too.
I'm Francesca Giacomini, good evening, and I will be the second speaker of proposition team.
Good evening, I'm Carlotta Gardiman and I'm going to be the third speaker of the proposition team.
Thank you. Opposition team. This is team from Masci Chieti.
Good evening, I'm Annalisa Maccione and I will be the first speaker of the opposition team.
I'm Alessio, I'm the second speaker of the opposition team.
And I'm Gaia Lignini and I'm the third speaker.
Who is giving the reply speech in your team?
It's me, Alessio, giving the reply speech.
That's okay. Thank you very much indeed. I don't know whether the panel could write that down. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so have you got anyone to cover for you if ever needed? Any technical issue? No extra students in your teams. Okay. All right, so just a couple of things that are needed for us to remind before we start the debate. I introduce myself. I'll be the chair for tonight's debate. My name is Giulia Bertagnolio, and my fellow colleagues will introduce themselves right now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Geraci.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Emanuele Spedale.
Thank you very much. I would like just to briefly summarize a couple of things that you should know. So there is protected time after the first minute in every speech you're going to give. You can give and receive POIs between after the first minute of protected time until the 6th. The last minute is again protected time, so no POI in that moment. Reply speech doesn't have any opportunity to give POIs, still have sounds for signaling the minutes going by. I will use my timer as I have this. I invite you to keep your timer, but without just lowering your volume so that there is no interference. I also would like you to unmute yourself when you have to give your POI and make clear that you are asking for it, okay? I think I've gone through all, but if I forgot something, please, panel, do help me. And okay, so I'm reading the motion for tonight and we can declare this debate is started. And the motion for today is this House regrets the internet. So I invite the first speaker pro to take the floor whenever you are ready. You're here.
Thank you very much. I'm the first speaker and my speech is going to start in 3, 2, 1 and go. Hi everyone, hi dear judges, good evening and good evening to my colleagues from the opposition team. Today, the motion regrets the internet, and as a proposition speaker, we regret the internet. First, I would like to start with some definitions. So, what is the internet for us? Internet is a global network of interconnected computers and digital devices that communicate with each other. It is a worldwide system made up of millions of smaller networks, such as private, public, academics, business, and government networks. And they are all linked together to allow the exchange of information and communication. And through this massive infrastructure, data can travel across the world in literally a fraction of second. And as a proposition team, we would like to introduce our topics that we will talk about later. First of all, we will have fake news and how dangerous they could be in our society. Then we will talk about privacy and personal data as they are stolen from the website. So how dangerous that could be for our world. And of course, we will talk about a daily problem, which is cyberbullying and hacking between our society. And this is definitely connected to the dark web too. And at the end, we will definitely talk about mostly 2025 problem, which is the artificial intelligence, so such as AI or ChatGPT. So first of all, I would like to introduce the first topic, so fake news. I would love to talk about this problem that affects all of us every day, often without us even noticing it, so fake news. It has become one of the biggest dangers in our modern world. It spreads fast, it creates confusion and influences the way people think, act, and even vote sometimes. And the worst part is that it can reach millions of people in just a few seconds. Fake news works because it plays with our emotions. It makes us angry, scared.
POI.
Sorry?
POI.
I didn't understand, sorry.
The interest. Point of information. Question. I want to ask a question.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Don't you agree that a lot of social platforms have measures to stop fake news, including the report function, which is common for pretty much any social media or messaging platform ever made?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part because it glitched a little bit?
Don't you agree that pretty much all social media platforms and messaging platforms have a report function specifically made to combat fake news? And isn't that one good way to combat fake news, meaning it is not as dangerous as you make it to be?
Yes, that's definitely, I agree with what you said about social media, but a lot of times when we do researches on the web, probably for school or for work, there are even websites where you have to agree for some cookies or privacy statement, and sometimes it specifies that the website cannot be secure, cannot be really approachable to real news. So yeah, that's my answer. So continuing my speech, I would say I was gonna say that fake news works because it plays with our emotions, so it makes us angry, scared, shocked, and sometimes even excited. And when we feel a strong emotion, we often believe that the information more quickly without checking if it's true. And many fake news are designed exactly for this reason, because they want to manipulate our feelings, so we share them immediately. And once we share them, they spread even more, like a virus, I would say. And another problem is that fake news can look very real. And thanks to technology, people can create images, videos, or even articles that seem pretty authentic, to be honest. Sometimes it is almost impossible to see the difference, and this makes it harder for everyone to understand what information is true and what information is wrong. And fake news is also dangerous because it divides society. And when people believe different facts, they start to argue. So fake news can create hate between people. They they can damage even someone else's life or influence political decisions. In some cases, fake news has caused real conflicts and violence in the world. So it shows how powerful misinformation can be. In conclusion, fake news is one of the main problems on the internet. They divide society, they create confusion, and they can ruin someone else's reputation. So to sum up my speech, internet is this global network of interconnected computers and digital devices. And my teammates will talk about privacy, personal dates, and the dark web, and artificial intelligence. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much to speaker number 1 for proposition team, who spoke for 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Please, when you give your PI, make sure you're audible at all time, okay? And make sure you don't have the other team repeat the question, please. Okay, so that you're not consuming all the time, okay? I would invite opposition team to take the floor now, whenever you are ready.
Okay, so my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Good evening, honorable judges, estimate opponents, and member of the House. I'm Annalisa Maccione, the first speaker of the opposition team. And today we are going to demonstrate that the world with the internet is much better than a world without it, for many reasons. We divided them in 3 main arguments: information, innovation, and opportunities. We are going to prove you that, yes, there might be some critical aspects, but that we can tackle some issues without eliminating it. Although the opposition team has presented some interesting points, we respectfully disagree with their position. I will start to talk about fake news, in fact. They claim that the internet spreads fake news and makes it hard to know what is true. In fact, fake news did not start with the internet. Every technology, newspapers, radios, TV, has been used to spread misinformation. The internet actually gives us more tools to check facts, not fewer. Official resources, scientific papers, reliable news outlets, and fact checkers are now available to everyone for free. The problem is not the internet, but media education. With better digital literacy, people learn how to recognize reliable resources. Removing the internet will make people less informed, not more. Controlling misinformation is possible through regulation and education, not by regretting the entire technology. And now I will move to talk about my first point, that is information. Before the internet, information was difficult to find. Books were limited, news arrived slowly, and learning depended on where you live and how much money you had. The internet has changed everything. To understand this, imagine a boy, John. John lives in a small town with no big library and no university. Without the internet, his future would be very limited. He could only learn what was around him, but with the internet, everything becomes possible. John can learn languages, coding, science, or anything he wants. He can read news from all over the world. He can even find online jobs and build a better future for himself. The internet gives millions of young people opportunities they never had before. It helps reduce inequality and gives everyone a chance to learn and grow. If we regret the internet, we are also regretting all the chance it gives to people like John. And now I will move to talk about my second point, that is innovation. The internet is in fact, the engine of modern innovation. In the last 30 years, every major improvement in science, medicine, communication, and technology has been made possible by the internet. Let's look, for example, at, I don't know, healthcare. Doctors can now talk to patients online, helping people in remote areas. Scientists from all over the world can work together and develop new treatments and vaccines. Let's move, for example, to economy. Small business can now reach global consumers without needing large stores. People can start companies from their homes. We can also think about science and technology, for example. We can think about space research, climate studies, and genetic science. All depend on high-speed data exchange. And so on, we can have a lot of other examples. Without the internet, this progress would slow down dramatically. We would lose collaboration, speed, efficiency. Yes?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So, what do you think about the test exam for medicine at the university that just thanks to internet, they cheat on them? And so now people that really want to study medicine cannot because of this situation.
We know that there are some critical aspects about internet. Lots of people use it to cheat, for example, also in tests at schools. But there are a lot of more benefits than disadvantages. This is one of them, but spread information all over the world. I think it's a much better opportunity and a much better solution than cheating on an exam. As I was saying, without the internet, this progress will slow down dramatically. We will lose collaboration, speed, efficiency, and also global intelligence. Yes, the internet has problems, but great invention has risks. Cars cause accidents. Electricity can be dangerous. Medicine can have side effects. We do not regret these things. We regulate them, improve them, and use them responsibly. The same is true for the internet. Its harms can be reduced, but its benefit cannot be replaced. In conclusion, we think that if we remove the internet from history, we will lose access to global information, equal opportunity for education, scientific collaboration, faster medical progress, economic growth, communication across borders, and innovation in almost every modern field. We will return to a world that is slower, more unequal, more closed, and far less prepared for the future. For all these reasons, we, the opposition, strongly believe that we should not regret the internet. It has expanded human potential, connected the world, and accelerated progress in ways humanity had never seen before. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the first speaker of opposition team who spoke for 7 minutes and 16 seconds. Just 1 second for the notes. When the panel are all ready, we can call proposition to the floor. Yeah, okay. So I would give the floor to the second speaker for proposition team. Whenever you're ready, you're here.
Okay, thank you. My speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Good evening. I'm the second speaker of proposition side, and I support the idea to regret internet. So like my teammate said at the beginning with the definition of internet is a global network of interconnected computers and digital devices that communicate with each other, or better, it's a worldwide system made up of millions of smaller networks that are all linked together to allow the exchange of information. So after we listen to the first speaker of opposition side, we can see their points that the internet is really important for the information. So thanks to internet, we can share information and people can grow with them. But we can also talk about how this information can be fake or even can be put in danger with personal information, with personal data, and then can be dangerous for the individual. Another point that they talked about is innovation. So internet is really important for modern field, for modern growing, and the global intelligence can help everyone, can help this new world. However, we can see more points against. Yes.
Don't you agree that thanks to fields like cybersecurity, stuff like data leaks, which you mentioned previously, are mitigated, meaning they're not as bad as you make them out to be?
I think we agree that innovation, that internet is good for something new that can be created. However, our data are still in danger because of internet, because there are people like hacker, like people that want to work behind these data, and they want to use them with another purpose, and so they use them in the wrong way. So as I was saying in my speech, and as my teammate stated before, a main problem of internet is fake news, because creates confusion and ruins someone's life, influencing people's opinions, and so people are less creative, less imagination, and they cannot create a own opinion. However, another important point to regret internet is that it can also be dangerous for our privacy and security. So, how many times happened that personal data were stolen and used with a second purpose? Many times when we are surfing the internet and we have to accept the privacy conditions to go on doing what we are doing, what we want, but we put at risk our personal data. In this way, our information can be shared and arrive to people. Yeah.
Don't you agree that with protocols like HTTPS, it is nearly impossible for hackers to steal data, meaning that the problem you just talked about simply cannot happen in a normal context?
I'm pretty sure that there are people that can go over these new technologies and can still use our data to do what they want. So I'm pretty sure that there are people that go on with their studies of this problem. And so I was saying that in this way, our information can be shared and arrive to people that we don't know, and maybe they can put in danger us. So internet for this way is a problem, is a danger for us. And another point, another important point to state is cyberbullying. So in this case, case, people are bullied on the internet by sharing their personal information, their pictures, their personal data. And in the worst case, it happened really often. So we know also at school they talk about this. A lot of people they think about suicide, so they arrive to put an end to their life. And in a short time, just because of internet, people's life is destroyed. So, sorry.
You're right.
Yeah.
Don't you agree that with modern laws, especially made for the use of digital media, thanks maybe in fact by the government to fight cyberbullying, would mitigate the problem that you just talked about?
I think that even though the government or other people can take action of this problem, there are still people that use personal data, information, and pictures, and the problem of cyberbullying is still in our world, in our daily days. So I don't think that we already go over this. And as a conclusion to my speech, I can say that thanks to these topics that I explained and I support, we clearly think that we clearly support the side of regretting internet. It's a word of dangers because of cyberbullying, fake news, or personal data usage. We can destroy our life, and some people can also think about finish our life. So internet can be useful for our growth, but we think that disadvantages are more dangerous than advantages. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your fair speech. The second speaker for proposition team, who spoke for 7 minutes and 29 seconds. I would now, when the panel is ready, give the floor to the second speaker for the opposition team. Yeah? All right.
Hello, I'm Alessio Santa Croce. I'm the second speaker of the opposition. Now, before moving on to my main points, those being of opportunity, as our first speaker talked about, I would like to focus on my rebuttal, particularly on a few points that the second speaker made of the proposition. In particular, the second speaker of the proposition claimed that cyberbullying is a major problem in the internet. Even though bullying has existed for years now, for decades, we could even argue, there is no cause-effect relationship that relates to the internet whatsoever. It's not that bullying didn't exist before that bullying didn't exist before the internet, it always has existed. It's just simply another tool for people to use. But even then, even if it's a new way for people to bully, there have been countless measures made against cyberbullying, especially by the government, and it led to people getting arrested over the stuff they wrote online. Even stuff people wrote from across the world. So maybe the victims didn't even know them personally, but they still got paid for the consequences that they did on the internet. So to claim that the government cannot fight against cyberbullying, as the second speaker of the proposition claimed, is simply ridiculous, and they are clearly not aware of how many measures are being made to fight cyberbullying, which is just another point to show that the cons of the internet, of the birth of the internet, simply cannot outweigh the pros in any way at all. Not to mention that in one of my questions, the second speaker claimed that hackers can bypass protocols like HTTPS. Now, while there are many protocols that can be bypassed by hackers, the protocols I mentioned specifically are made to fight against hackers. With these protocols, it is simply impossible for any hacker to access your information unless you're really, really uncareful with the way you manage your information on the internet. In fact, with proper antivirus and the proper tools that a browser gives you automatically, which means you don't need to do any extra modifications to your browser in order to actually get these extra guardrails, these extra safety guardrails, it is simply possible for a hacker to access this information. Therefore, it is simply ridiculous to assume that hackers can bypass this protocol, as the second speaker of the proposition claimed previously in one of my questions. Not to mention, the second speaker didn't exactly answer my question of how... what is it?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I wanted to talk about cyberbullying, as you were saying about my teammates. Don't you think that even if the government is trying to defend this problem of cyberbullying, as you said, don't you agree that cyberbullying is so much worse than bullying? Because bullying can be in a small village, in a small town, but cyberbullying rests on the internet for the rest of your life.
Absolutely not. Absolutely impossible that any form of cyberbullying done on the internet, on a smartphone, could be worse than physical bullying. People have died in physical bullying. People get hurt in physical bullying. They get jumped by groups of teenagers hurting them. It's not even just the victims in a classroom. It could even be their families. This is not the first time something like this has happened. A classic example of this is The Kid with the Pink Pants, which is a classic film that most of it has seen. It's a classic example of physical bullying taken to the extreme. Cyberbullying in no way, shape, or form can ever reach those levels of damage, those levels of physical damage. Cyberbullying may be detrimental to one's mental health, sure, I'll give you that, but it will never reach death, which is probably one of the worst case scenarios that bullying can reach. Cyberbullying simply does not have that much power. There's simply way too many tools that can assist victims in this case scenario. Now, going back to my previous point before I was interrupted, the second speaker didn't exactly answer how a lot of cybersecurity specialists who specialize, in fact, in fighting against hackers, and particularly DDoS attacks, and as mentioned by the first and second speaker, data leaks. The second speaker did not answer if the cybersecurity specialists can fight against this, meaning the problem is not as big as they make it out to be. Therefore, I just wanted to raise that as my point. Now, moving on to my main points, so moving on from my rebuttal, I would like to talk about the opportunities of the internet. So not just social, professional opportunities, right? But also in the context of a political vacuum, let's say. The first major benefit the internet gives us is social and professional networking, allowing us to connect with people from across the globe for job opportunities, for dating opportunities even, or even just to make a new friend. It is simply expanded so much that we can connect to any person on earth, and we connect to many people on the earth on a daily basis, right? Sometimes we met people on the internet before we meet them in person. Not to mention, the internet is absolutely excellent and amazing at maintaining relationships. Speaking from personal experience as someone who has made friends across the globe, from Armenia to Ireland to America, whatever it is, I formed a lot of intimate relationships, but I was not able to keep in contact physically due to me being stuck in Italy. Thanks to the internet, I'm able to keep in contact with these friends of mine, with these best friends, these close friends, which I form bonds which I could not form with any other human being, at least not as far as I know of. So maintaining those relationships is not only amazing for my mental health, it's also amazing for their mental health. This way we can discuss our problems with each other and help us assist each other during tough times. Not to mention, the internet has been used on too many occasions for group projects, right? Even right now, during this debate, we are using Google Meet, which is a tool typically used for work. It's a tool used by companies. Just the fact that we are holding this debate right now is a testament to how great the pros of the internet are. Not to mention, a lot of companies use Google Meet, Microsoft Teams in order to communicate with each other to work on group projects, which then not only help the employees because of course they get paid, but they also help advance and reach new products, new sales, and new objectives that the company wants to reach. Fine. That is, yes?
Okay, so my question is, you talked about meeting new people, but
Good time.
oh,
Cosa?
654.
64.
I
That's my speech. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much to the second speaker for opposition team. Did you finish your speech? Because I really didn't have it clear. So, yeah.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. So I wanted just to make sure you had finished your speech. Yeah.
Oh, I finished.
Okay. Thank you very much. So your speech lasted 7 minutes and 7 seconds. Okay, I would invite you to keep your timer, okay? So that you know the timing. I'm not sure that it's audible, mine, so make sure, okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to add that we can't hear the timer, so I'm unsure, are we supposed to keep our own timer, or do you already have a timer running in the background?
Okay, so what I can do, in fact, is I can write you when the protected time is on, okay, and when it's over. All right, so I can write to you.
Excellent, thank you.
Sure. I'm sorry, you didn't mention this before we started.
Sorry?
You didn't mention this before we started the debate.
No, we didn't.
Next time, remember that first. Okay, thank you. Okay, I would invite now the third speaker for proposition team to take the floor whenever you are ready. Yeah, I'm sorry. I will write that. Okay, so when 1 minute is gone and when it's protected time, I will put it in the chat box. Clear? Yeah. Okay, so third speaker for proposition team, whenever you are ready, you may take the floor.
Hi, I'm Carlotta, and my speech is going to start in 3, 2, 1. First of all, I want to start by thanking my colleagues from the opposition team for their speeches. And I wanted to address the kind of argument we had over cyberbullying, because we felt like you underestimated a little bit the mental damage that it can cause people. For example, how much power it has, since the internet, as you said, is a platform that is made to connect different people from different sides of the world. We have a great example of cyberbullying with TikTok, since the comments are kind of brutal on social networks. And most of all, it can go unnoticed by families, for example, that do not have that much control over their children's devices. And some people also killed themselves because of cyberbullying. So it's not only the damage, the physical damage that normal bullying can cause. It's also the mental one that can go unnoticed. Yes. Can you come a little closer, because I can't really hear?
Oh, sorry. As I was saying, don't you agree that physical bullying is not only more detrimental physically, but also mentally, due to the presence of other people, which could cause social anxiety, which would make the mental and psychological aspect of bullying even worse compared to the digital one, where you could just simply block people?
Okay, so I want to make clear that it's not a race between physical and mental bullying, cyberbullying. Yes, it can be the most detrimental on the physical side, but it also, as I said, we felt like you were underestimating the mental side. Yes, you can block people on social medias, but what tells you that they're not going to create another account just to keep on bullying you? Like, that's not a physical person is just a physical person. If you go and contact authorities, you can explain the problem to them, and supposedly they should be able to do something about it. If you're talking about cyberbullying, there's not much people can do because not everyone is there, just one person on the internet. I can be 3 persons if I want to. And I wanted to go on supporting what my teammate has said about privacy. She talked about personal data getting stolen on the internet. And I wanted to address the problematic of the dark web, which is a known issue of the internet. I want to be clear that the data that can get stolen on the internet are not stolen just for fun, just because someone wants to make a joke and laugh about it. Most of the times they end up in the wrong hands and they land on the dark web. What is dark web? We can call it the dark side of the internet, and it's web accessible through specific softwares. So that means that you cannot access it through Google, for example, and it's a really dangerous place. You can do both legal and illegal things on the dark web.
POI.
Yeah.
Don't you agree that the government, especially the US government, who was responsible for the dark web, made a lot of mock sites in order to catch criminals on the dark web and make it impossible for any illegal activity to happen on the internet or on the dark web in general?
So yeah, I was going to talk about how authorities use the dark web to catch criminals, or also to protect and prevent from digital crimes such as hacking or conversations getting stolen, maybe between presidents or something like that. But I would say that it's not effective enough, because the controls on the dark web are not as close as enough as they should be, because it's kind of a playground for criminals to keep on doing their illegal activities. I was trying to say that you can do both legal. Yeah. Okay.
Why?
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't you agree that the US government, in particular, who is the one who invented dark web, might I ask, they know how it works, would not mean that they are the ones who are most responsible and know best how to fight criminal activity on the dark web, since they know how it works better than anyone else?
Creating something and knowing better than everyone else how to use something is a completely different thing. Because, for example, some things can get out of hand and have a completely different futures from what you expected it to have. For example, AI, we are using it for many different things, and sometimes I don't know if you've seen like the videos of robots that create kind of their own intelligence and they start kind of thinking on their own. That's something you cannot control. So if you create something, you cannot be assured that you have the means to keep it in the limits that you built for it. I wanted to make examples of things and activities that you can buy on the dark web. You can buy illegal substances or drugs. You can buy personal photos. You can access sex trafficking and organs traffic. You can sell and buy weapons. Also, as I said, conversations between people. You can traffic money. And you can also buy you can also sell and buy personal data such as your address, your personal information, and documents. Which means you can become the target of crimes, since people can access your information. And you also can get your identity stolen, so someone can impersonate you. The scary thing about it is that you don't know if your infos end up on the dark web, and sometimes you also, if you go on the dark web out of curiosity, you can encounter viruses like malware, and authorities also can keep track of you, and you can appear as a suspect, even though you wanted maybe to see something just because you were curious. And to sum it up, the dark web is a really dangerous place, and the easy access that we have to it is not something we can control on our own. And my speech ends here. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much to the third speaker for proposition team, who spoke for 7 minutes and 58 seconds. Now, if all the panel is okay, we can move on and call the third speaker for the opposition team. Whenever you are ready, you may take the floor.
Okay, so honorable judges and fellow debaters, I'm the third speaker of the opposition team. And so let's take a moment to examine the weakness in the arguments presented by the proposition team. So you talk about many things. First of all, cyberbullying. So I want to say again that cyberbullying just manifests in another form, but is something that has always existed. Especially, it is not an internet problem, but a society one. I think that we think as a team that children, teenagers should be educated and sensibilized in order to eliminate or at least reduce bullying in general, which once again has always been a problem, even and maybe especially before the internet was invented. So we can just we should try to reduce this problem with education and not eliminating the internet, which is not the better way, I think. Also, you said that with cyberbullying, people can kill themselves, but people can kill themselves anyway. Also with physical bullying, especially with physical bullying, which is also more dangerous because people can be physically abused. So it's not something to not address. Also, you talk about fake news.
Sorry.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
I said that it was not a race between, that we wanted to make clear that it was not a race between physical and cyberbullying. But don't you think that the access to the internet makes it more of a common problem, like it affects much more people as it did when it was just physical bullying?
Okay, maybe, like, yes, of course, but the affection that it has on the person, it's not a major problem, because a person, especially a young person that is abused or that is made fun of, the effect is not worse if it includes like more people. I don't think that's not the case. I don't think so. Like, bullying is dangerous in every form. But as I said, it is not an internet problem. It's a society one. Okay, so I move on with fake news. Also with fake news, there are always been fake news, and in the newspaper, for example, there has always been fake news. And once again, it is a symptom of a larger problem, not the cause. That means it is not an issue related to the internet, but the society, once again. Moreover, there are some websites that everybody knows that they are safe. For example, government websites or global known association, etc., etc., and we can simply just rely on them because we know that they're safe. Also, you talk about personal data issues, but there are many instruments in order to tackle this issue. For example, apps that can ensure your security and protect your personal data. Also, an excellent way to resolve this problem is using safe passwords where we register our data that can be on digital bank or whatever. And it is something that is mandatory now because most of the time apps or websites do not let you register if you don't use a safe password in order to make your data safe. Also, you talk about dark web, but we think that dark web, first of all, is just a minimum part of the internet. It's just around 1% of the whole internet, which is way wider, and which we said is an extreme resource. So why would we just give up on all the internet for this minimum part of dark web, which would not, like, eliminating internet and dark web would not solve criminality in general. That is a problem, has always been a problem, and will be a problem. But it won't be resolved by just eliminating the internet. Also, I have an example, for example, Silk Road, that is a drug site that has been closed by the government. So we can do actions in order to tackle these problems, these issues. It is something that is happening and that we can do. Having said so, I think I proved you how the internet's advantages are way more than the disadvantages, and I beg you to vote for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your fair speech. To the third speaker for opposition team, who spoke for 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Now, if the panel is ready, I would invite opposition team to give the reply speech as the constructive part of this debate has ended. So whenever opposition are ready, you may take the floor.
So in order to start my reply speech, I would like to go over some of the questions and some of the points made previously. I would first like to add that none of our questions have been properly answered, or at least they have not been answered in a way that was clear. And some of our questions weren't answered completely. The proposition went off topic. There are mainly 4 points I wanted to cover: cyberbullying, cybersecurity, fake news, and the dark web. While talking about cybersecurity, the proposition claimed that the internet is a platform for cyberbullying, and that cyberbullying is extremely detrimental to a student's mental health. Us at the proposition claimed that physical bullying not only is more dangerous and has existed for a longer period of time as cyberbullying has, we also have proven that cyberbullying is simply a symptom of a larger problem. So while the internet is simply a tool that can be used for bullying, it is not the cause of bullying or cyberbullying in general. Not to mention, another one of the points was cybersecurity. The proposition claimed that data leaks are pretty common in the internet, and they can lead to people's personal information being leaked, whether that be videos, medical records, whatever that is. Us at the opposition have proven again however, that there have been multiple measures and tools made to ensure that this does not happen, such as, for example, the HTTPS protocol, antiviruses, the whole field of cybersecurity dedicated specifically to specialists who fight against these data leaks and these hackers. One of the third points was fake news. The proposition claimed essentially that the internet is used as a platform in order to spread fake news. Us at the opposition claimed that even though this claim was indeed true and that the internet was used to spread fake news, it is not the first example of fake news being spread. Fake news has been spread multiple times throughout history, not just through the internet. There's no cause-effect relationship there. It is simply the symptom of a larger problem. Again, the same case as it was with cyberbullying. Finally, one of the last points I wanted to cover was the dark web. The proposition claimed essentially that the dark web existed and it was used for illegal activities such as drug trafficking, human trafficking, assassins, etc. Us at the proposition have shown that the dark web is not as dangerous as they make it out to be, thanks to measures made, in fact, by governments, particularly the US government, who is the organization best fit to fight against crime on the dark web. And since they know the most about how to deal with crime, since they were the ones to create the dark web, they also have made countless measures and countless ways to fight against this. In other words, I would like to go back to our main 3 points, which were information, innovation, and relationship. We have proven that thanks to the internet, we're able to spread information across the globe, which helps people cultivate new ideas and new competences. We have proven that it is an amazing ground for innovation, helping new fields arise and new solutions to problems which we couldn't have thought of without the internet, unfortunately. And we've also proven it is absolutely amazing for cultivating, maintaining, and developing relationships. In fact, it is probably one of the most important platforms for cultivating any relationship nowadays, since most relationships rely more often than not on a online platform. I would like to rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your fine reply speech. Your speech lasted 4 minutes and 5 seconds. And now I would invite, if everybody's ready, I would invite proposition team to take the floor to give their reply speech and close this fair debate.
Thank you very much. And my reply speech will start in 3, 2, 1, and go. So at the end of this speech, I thank my team and the opposite team. We think that the other team literally underestimate the danger of internet we talked about. We know internet was one of the biggest changing in our daily life, but it definitely brought a lot of problems. We think the opposing team is minimizing the issues we addressed in order to make it look easy and not that dangerous. So they mention information, opportunity, and innovation as global intelligence or modern field growth. But we are more than sure that themes as fake news or security or cyberbullying, as we said, or even the dark web are definitely more important to talk about in this society. So me and my teammates, we talked a lot about fake news and how dangerous they could be because they affect people, lives, and influence their opinion about any kind of topic. Because they spread really fast, they create confusion, and they influence the way people think, act, and they even vote. And moreover, we talked about security and how many times we agree on cookies on the websites without even knowing what we were accepting to. So we supported the danger of stealing data, and even though we can use safe passwords as the other team claimed, we are more than sure that that is not enough to have a safe website. Furthermore, we have cyberbullying that was a really talk theme we talked about in this speech. And we explain how disruptive it can be, especially for young people, because we even heard a lot of times about people committing suicide. It can be even worse than bullying, we think. Think about a small town or an international town, an international community we were talking about. There can definitely not be a comparison between physical bullying and cyberbullying. And in conclusion, we talked a lot about the dark web. So how bad that could be, where people can literally share whatever they want on these websites, such as drugs, data, weapons, or datas. And so we think that internet was a really important changing, but he has a lot of problems we need to solve. So that was the end of my speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your fine speech. That lasted 3 minutes and 8 seconds. I now would invite, I will stop the recording. Is that correct? Which is stop. Okay, stop that. Okay.